So one of my favorite quotes, which is from a guy called Charlie Munger, it says, "As long as I have a book in my hand, I feel like I am not wasting time, or I don't feel like I'm wasting time." One of those. And this has really influenced my reading habit, because there was a time in my life about 2.5 years ago where I hated my job, my 9 to 5 job, and I felt like, because after 9 to 5, I just sit down, watch Netflix, and chill, and I really wasn't doing anything productive. That's how I felt. So that's what really got me into that direction, or the journey of entrepreneurship, of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, how I wanted to be creative, right? And then I started reading. So reading wasn't something that I always did. It wasn't something that I loved, but it was something that I really got into because I was trying to rediscover, or I was trying to explore my creativity and figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So in this video, I'm going to go through all of the books that I read in 2022 and then give you my recommendations. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and if you are new here, I do talk about creativity, productivity, and personal growth. And I will talk about marketing here and there, but this is specifically for people who want to be more creative outside of their 9 to 5 jobs. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you are notified every week when I put out a new video. So like I said, reading is pretty much a new habit that I picked up in 2021. So even though I started reading in maybe 2019 or 2020, I really got into it in 2021. And the reason why this habit was pretty easy to stick, it's because I realized a lot of really smart people read a lot, and I wanted to get into this world of information, where I provide information, right? So I realized that I definitely have to be well learned in order to provide the right information to people who need it. So at first I reluctantly started reading, and then I got into it, became a habit, and now I love to read. So this video is divided into 3 parts. I'm going to first start with self-help books, right, for personal growth, and then I'm going to go into entrepreneurship and marketing books, and lastly we're going to end with fiction. So the very first book I'm going to talk about is this one, Atomic Habits, right? So this is one of my favorite books, and if you go through YouTube or even online, you realize a lot of people do recommend this book because it is one of those books that actually changes your life. And the reason I'm starting with this book is because it talks about developing habits. It's about how to build or cultivate new good habits and break bad ones. And since we're talking about picking up the habit of reading, I saw it fitting to actually start with this book right here. So the author here, James Clear, he gives real life examples and scenarios how you can actually break bad habits and cultivate new good habits. So he talks about an accident that he had and his recovery process, which kind of shaped the trajectory of his life and kind of made him have to relearn certain things, have to develop new habits in order to live life given his situation at the time. So he talks about 4 laws of behavioral change, right? And he says if you want to pick up or cultivate a new good habit, there are 4 questions that you should ask yourself. So number 1, how can I make it obvious? Number 2, how can I make it attractive? Number 3, how can I make it easy? And number 4, how can I make it satisfying? So for example, if you want to start going to the gym, one way you can make it obvious is actually set a routine where you go to the gym every day at 5:30 p.m. And you know that 5:30 p.m. every single day is your time to go to the gym. So once you start doing that, it's going to become a routine. It's going to become obvious that at this specific time is the time for me to go to the gym. So do not pick random times to go to the gym, right? You have to make that decision and build that routine where you know that Mondays to Fridays at 5:30 I go to the gym. And once you start doing that, then it's going to become a habit, it's going to stick, and it's not going to be something that you have to think of in order for you to do. Now, number 2, which is making it attractive, and using the same example as trying to go to the gym every day or every other day, you can make that practice or that habit attractive by investing in yourself, right? Invest in new gym or new workout apparels, right? This is going to give you that motivation and that boost to actually want to go to the gym because you have invested in that. So that is how you can make it attractive, by investing. So think about different ways depending on the habit that you want to cultivate. So how can you make it more attractive in order for you to be more motivated for this thing? Now the third one is you want to make it easy. And with this, it is in two different ways. I'm going to split this into two different parts, right? So you can make it easy by starting small. So if you want to start working out, you can just wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm going to run 10 miles every single day, right? That is just too much. You will give up at some point if you're someone who's just starting. You want to make it easy. You want to start small. You want to start maybe by walking, and then you can go up to carrying weights, to doing a spin class or whatever, right? So that is how you can make it easy. So another way you can make this easy is by making it easy for you to cultivate this habit, right? So if you want to start going to the gym at 5:30 every single day, you want to make sure that you are organizing your clothes, your gym clothes or your workout clothes every day, early in the morning or before that time, right? You can arrange them on your bed, you can put them on your counter, wherever it's gonna be more visible to you. So you want to make sure that it is easy for you to cultivate this habit. You want to make sure that it is easy for you to pick this habit up, right? If you hide your clothes somewhere, you're probably gonna forget, or it will be harder for you to go there and start picking those clothes out to go to the gym, right? So you want to organize it maybe a day before, or maybe in the morning if you're going to the gym in the evening, or if you decide you're going to the gym every morning at 8 a.m., you're organizing your workout clothes the night before, right? So once you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you're going to see is your workout clothes. So that is how you make it easy for you to pick up this habit. And lastly, he talks about making it satisfying. And the way you can make it satisfying is by rewarding yourself every time you succeed, every time you hit a milestone, right? So that is something that you can do. If you feel like you're able to go to the gym successfully 4 times a week, then at the end of that week, you can reward yourself with something, or at the end of the month, you can reward yourself with something, right? So you want to make picking up that habit actually satisfying. You want to make cultivating that habit satisfying. So these are the 4 different rules that he talks about when it comes to you picking up a habit or cultivating a habit. He goes deeper into this, gives real life examples, and also talks about how you can break habits. So this is an amazing book, and I feel like everybody should have this book as part of their collection. I will be reading this again, and I recommend you do too. Now, the next book I'm going to talk about is this one. It's called The 4 Agreements, and this is by Don Miguel Ruiz. Now, this talks about the 4 rules or the 4 agreements to live by in order to have a life of freedom and happiness. Now, the first one is being impeccable with your words. So, words are powerful. You don't want to speak just because you have a mouth. You want to speak words of wisdom. You want to speak words that actually brings life onto someone else or onto yourself. So do not just speak if you do not have something nice to say or something good to say about yourself or someone else. Words are powerful and you want to use them wisely. The second agreement is don't take things personally. So here it says everyone is responsible for their own actions and for their own decisions. So you want to make decisions and take actions based on your own life, based on what you want and not what other people think. Because again, you are responsible for your decision and responsible for your actions. And the third agreement, which is something that I love and I try to put into practice, is do not make assumptions. So you want to make inquiries, you want to ask questions, you want to communicate with others in order to make the right decision. You are not don't just make assumptions about people or about situations, right? Communication is key. So make sure you're communicating with people before you come to a conclusion, rather than just making assumptions without actually asking questions and making inquiries. And lastly, he says always do your best. Your best might not be the best, but in everything you do, you want to make sure you are putting in your best. So these are the 4 agreements he talks about in this book. He actually goes deeper into them. This is a really reflective book that you always want to come back to, and it is an easy read, right? I am not a fast reader. As time goes on, my reading speed increases, but if you're a fast reader, you can take about an hour or less to read this. For me, it's going to be about 2 hours. Like I said, I'm not really a fast reader. But you want to keep this. You always want to come back to it to kind of remind yourself about these 4 agreements. Now, the next book we're going to talk about is this one. This is one of my favorite books, and this is one book that really changed my life. And I'll talk about this again in another video, but this is so good. This is a book that I will always read. I 100% recommend this book. So this book is by Gary Keller. It says Gary Keller with J. Papasan, and it talks about the principle of focusing on one thing, focusing on the minimum in order to get the maximum results. Now, if you're starting a business, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you are trying to develop a skill, or if you're trying to explore your creativity, right? Something like niching down is what this book talks about. It talks about focusing, right? Focusing on the one thing, not trying to be everything to everyone at the same time, but focusing. And it's not just in business. It doesn't only apply in business or in your creative life. It applies in every single aspect of your life. So if you're trying to learn a new skill, you want to make sure that you're focusing on one skill. You are not trying to do every single thing to be best at everything. If you are performing a task, you want to focus on that task before going to the next. You do not want to multitask, right? You want to do one thing at a time and then move on to the next. If you're trying to pick up a new habit, you want to focus on starting with one habit and then moving on to the next, right? Like I said, it can apply to pretty much every single aspect of your life. So in a nutshell, what he's saying in this book is focusing on a thing at a time gets you way better results, faster results, than trying to do everything at once or trying to be everything to everyone. So this is a really, really good one. Like I said, it's one of my best books and I do 100% recommend this one. Now the next book I'm going to talk about is this one. It's called QBQ, and that stands for the question behind the question. And it says what to really ask yourself to eliminate blame, victim thinking, complaining, and procrastination. And that is by John G. Miller. So this book is about practicing personal accountability in life and also at work. So it talks about how to avoid playing the victim, how to avoid procrastination, how to avoid making excuses or complaining when things do not go your way. So it talks about the questions that you need to ask yourself in order to be more accountable for your actions, right? Asking the right questions is going to help you move forward. It's going to help you get out of situations than trying to blame others or by trying to play the victim. So what you want to do is ask the right questions that leads you to taking accountability and taking action towards getting a solution. So this is also a really good book. It kind of makes you reflect on your situation, on your circumstance, and see how you can make a change rather than trying to blame other things or blaming one person or another, right? Just ask the right questions and kind of figure out how you can be better, whether it's at work or whether it's your personal life. Now that is all about the self-help books that I read last year. Now we're going to get into the marketing books or entrepreneurship books, if you can call it that. The very first one I'm going to talk about is this one. It's called 100 Million Offers. And this is by Alex Hormozi. This is by Alex Hormozi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, Alex Hormozi. And it says how to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. This is really good. Like, it's a small book. It looks big, but it's really a simple and easy read, and it's packed with so much value. So this pretty much tells you how you can increase the value of your offer, whatever it is, whether it's a product or a service, how you can increase the value in order to increase the price, in order to make people want to buy it and feel like they are paying pennies for the value that you are giving them. So if you are thinking about starting a business, if you already have a business, if you have a product or service that you are selling, right, you 100% want to read this, because like I said, it gives you different ways that you can increase the value of your offer, so people feel like they are getting more than what they're paying for. So that is what everybody wants their products or their services to feel like once they give out the prices, right? They want people to feel like, well, with all of this value that you're giving me, definitely this is a steal. So this teaches you how to really increase the value of that offer, and it's really, really good. You 100% want to read this. So the next book I'm going to talk about is this one. This is Predictably Irrational, and this is by Dan Ariely. Okay, so this really goes deep into how people make decisions, right? It says most of the time, the decisions that we make are pretty predictable. You might feel like you're making a smart decision, and you might feel like the decisions you make is out of your intelligence. However, most of the time as humans, our decision making is pretty predictable because of human behavior as a whole. So he says there's certain principles that guide human behavior, and because of that, it is very easy for people to predict how people are gonna behave, how they're gonna make decisions, how they're gonna act. So honestly, with this book, it started being really interesting, but at some point I got lost in the middle of the book. So I think I finished it, but honestly, I did not really get everything till the end. I might get back to it, but I kind of get the gist, or I got the gist of the book. So basically, the gist of the book is the fact that most of the time we feel like we are making rational and intelligent decisions. However, our decisions are pretty predictable based from human behavior. Our choices are predictable because of how humans are likely to act in certain situations. Next, this is another one that I read but I did not also really get into, is Made to Stick, and that is by Chip and Dan Heath. And this talks about how our minds absorb information, right? It talks about the reason why certain stories are memorable and others are pretty forgettable. So this is really for storytellers and marketers and even copywriters, and it can really help you understand how to write stories and how to write copy in such a way that it sticks, how to actually create a memorable brand through storytelling. So it basically just kind of helps you understand how to better articulate your messaging in such a way that you're creating a memorable brand. The story behind your brand is memorable and not forgettable. Now, the last book in this category that I read in 2022 is this one, Copywriting Secrets. Now, when it comes to marketing or copywriting, this is the best book that I have read. It's really good. It's simple to understand, straight to the point, and it gives you real examples that you can actually apply in your business at the moment, right? Like at that specific time. You can actually readily take those examples and tweak them and apply to your own business. And I have actually sold my 4-figure course from examples on copywriting techniques that I read from this book. So this is by Jim Edwards, and it says how everyone can use the power of words to get more clicks, more sales, and profits, no matter what you sell or who you sell it to. So this is really good. Like I said, it's pretty simple for you to grasp. It's pretty simple for you to apply for yourself, for your own business. So if you're working for someone, if you're a copywriter and you are a freelancer, right? So this 100% I do recommend. So this is a book that you want to keep in your back pocket to always go back to kind of get a reminder of some of the things that you can do, some of the techniques that you can apply for yourself or for your clients when it comes to copywriting. And this is not just about writing emails, right? It also goes deep into writing maybe video sales letters, emails, web page or sales pages, or websites, even brochures, right? So it talks about how you can really apply these different techniques in all these different ways to create copy or write copy that sells. Now, the final category that I am going to talk about today is fiction. So we are getting into the good part, depending on how you feel. So last year, I actually just read one series. And the series is made up of 7 books. It's actually made up of 8. However, the last book is not out yet. So it is called The Mark. This is the Mark series. It's so good. I love it. And that is by Bianca Scardoni. So this is one book where I purchased I think I purchased the first one in 2019. I really wasn't into reading at that time, so like I did not even open the book. I tried to start reading it, but I wasn't into it. And then I just decided to get into it towards the end of last year, actually, right? So like since 2019, I bought the book, but I didn't read it, and I actually got into it towards the end of last year, and I could not put down this book. It is that good. It is really amazing. It is paranormal romance, and I am a sucker for the paranormal, whether it's a book or it's a TV show or it's a movie. I do love the paranormal world, right? And if you are into that kind of thing, you definitely would love this book. I do recommend it. It's got really amazing characters that you're captivated by, right? That you really can't get enough of. And the world building is great, because when it comes to this kind of books, you want to get into the world, right? And that is really good. It's one of those books where the world building is really great, and it's pretty well written. And so I do recommend this book. Like I said, it's got 7 different it's got 7 in the series, or 8 in the series. The final book isn't out yet. We are we can't wait. And by we, I mean with the fans, right? We cannot wait for that to come out. And I did join the Facebook group for this book. There's some really interesting conversations happening in there, and everyone is speculating what's gonna happen, how it's gonna end. Whew, it's so good. I can't get enough of it. But I have read this twice already, and I'll probably read it again before the final book comes out, or before I read the final book. But if you are into paranormal romance, you definitely want to read this, and I can't wait to share the ones that I read or I've already read this year. Whew, I really can't wait. But yeah, that is it for the books that I read in 2022. Again, I'm pretty new into reading, so I didn't read a lot of books compared to people who are really readers, right? But it really doesn't matter how many books you read. It's just about you developing that habit and cultivating the habit and really getting something from all of the books that you read. So do not start by making goals and you want to read 30 books a month or you want to read 100 books a year. Just start by cultivating the habit of reading. Just start reading, and as you continue to read, your speed is going to increase. You're going to read more books as time goes on. So thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and all of the links to the books are in the description box, so you can grab them if you want. And please, before you leave, do not forget to share your own recommendations in the comment section. I would love to get some recommendations for some amazing books. It doesn't matter if it's self-help, if it's marketing, or if it's some really amazing paranormal fiction. So please share that in the comment section. I would love to get your recommendations. And lastly, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next one.